What's up, everybody? Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to pick number two. Pick number two of our favorite 31 albums of the 70s countdown that we're doing all month long here in October 2023. 31 days in a month. Our 31 favorite albums across all genres. Every single one of them. As long as it was released in the 70s, it counts. Rock, pop, metal, hard rock, prog, jazz, fusion, Americana, folk, soundtrack, doo-wop, whatever. Doesn't matter. It's all up for grabs here. Today, for my pick number two. This is the third album from this British band. Remember, I told you a couple days ago, a shift happened in my list this week. A favorite album of mine from one of my favorite bands of all time has been replaced by another album that perhaps has been my number two favorite album from that band for a very, very long time. But I don't know, over the last year or so, I've been feeling a change, kind of like what happened with Whitesnake this year, right? Where finally Slide It In overtook the 87 album as my favorite Whitesnake album of all time. It happens. Even after 30 plus years. Sometimes that happens. It's happened here with this band. I've noticed of late, this has been my go-to album from this band. And when I listen to this back to back with my previous favorite, I find I skip less on this album. There's a couple tracks on my prior favorite that I don't really care all that much for. The rest of it I absolutely love. I still do. But I think this album is stronger, and it just seems to be the vibe of what I've been looking for of late when it comes to this band. It was released in July 1971, recorded at Island Studios in London, England, produced by Roger Bain for Vertigo Records. I'm talking about Master of Reality by Black Sabbath. Yeah, it's my new number one for Sabbath after a long time. Volume 4 was my favorite Sabbath album for decades. This was right up there, but not quite. It is now. It is now. Of course, you know the lineup. We don't need to talk about it. Ozzy, Geezer, Tony, and Bill. This is the last album produced by Roger Bain of the original trio, and it's the heaviest. Down-tune the guitars a little bit, drop them the C, and just let's go for a dirgier, heavier sound. Tony's like, I think we can make this even more crushing. I love the production of this album. It's dark, it's menacing, it's sludgy. This is, if you look for like the genesis of doom and stoner rock, and stoner metal, and sludge, it's right here, folks. It's right here. Starts off with Sweet Leaf. Of course, Tony coughing away after partaking in some of the Sweet Leaf. Sweet Leaf crushes. What a riff. After Forever might be my favorite song on the album. If it's not, it's number two. After Forever is just absolutely terrific. A little bit of a different song. I wish After Forever was a song that they adopted live, because I think it's just such a great song. It would be great for the stage. And you got the little embryo instrumental, which is actually really good. And then, of course, that leads into Children of the Grave, the most famous song on the album. Another favorite Sabbath song of mine. Just still to this day, never get tired of Children of the Grave. It's just so menacing and evil. Oh, so good. Then over on side B, you got another little mini instrumental called Orchid. I think the two little instrumentals on this album work for the most part. That's the thing about Volume 4. The couple little ditties that are on there, don't really do much for me. And of course, Changes, I'm not really big of. Everything else I love. But here, you got these two little quick songs. Don't mind them at all. Then, of course, Lord of this World, which I think is absolutely terrific. That leads into Solitude, which is kind of like Planet Caravan Part 2. I like Solitude better, to be honest with you. I think Solitude is really, really good. And then, of course, the absolutely crushing finale of Into the Void. Another of the kind of underrated gems on this album. That's the thing. I mean, even the deep cuts on this album are terrific. Mostly people think of this album, they think of Children of the Grave, Sweet Leaf, maybe Into the Void, but man, Lord of this World, After Forever, Solitude, all really, really strong. All really, really strong. Great to see the band bringing Into the Void back into the live format in the latter stages. When they were out on the end tour. Very, very cool. As far as charting stuff here, Australia, number 4. Canada, number 6. Dutch charts, number 10. Finland, number 3. Germany, number 5. Italy, number 8. Norway, number 12. UK album charts, number 5. And this made it all the way to number 8 in the US Billboard charts. And back when the reissue came out. That would be this bad boy right here, this remaster. Went back onto the UK Billboard charts at number 51. Excuse me, and the and the U.S. Billboard charts re-entered at number 22. As far as certifications go, the usual suspects for this: the big trio: Canada, platinum, 100,000 units sold; UK, gold, 100,000 units sold; and the United States, double platinum, at 2 million copies sold. This was a big seller for the band. And do we have any singles from this album? Children of the Grave was released as a single in July 1971. Can anybody guess how well that did on the U.S. Billboard singles chart? Probably not very good. Children of the Grave is not a song you would expect to hear on like AM radio or anything like that, right? No, of course not. But it's an amazing album. Yes, my new favorite Sabbath album has replaced Volume 4. It's my number 2. Even overtook Led Zeppelin, Physical Graffiti, and yes, Close to the Edge, number 2 on my list. Can you guess what number 1 is? I'm sure most of you know what number 1 is. If you don't, you haven't been paying much attention here over the years. But yeah, number 1 was kind of like a no-brainer. But I tell you, not much separates my number 1 and this one, okay? Because you know the 2 bands in question are my 2 favorite bands of all time, obviously. And just love these albums. Love them. So anyway, thanks for watching. Let us know what you think of Master of Reality down in the comments below, as well as list your pick number 1. I'm sorry, your pick number 2. We're not quite there yet. Tomorrow's number 1. And this is on the web at www.seaoftranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube all together all the damn time. Please subscribe if you haven't already. And click on that notification bell so you get alert of all of our content as it posts. And please do hit the like button before you leave. Also down below we got the links to our Ko-Fi page for channel donations, our merch page, and our Cameo page. So thanks in advance for all your support there. And we'll see you tomorrow for pick number 1 as we finish off our favorite albums of the 70s before we go into favorite solo albums of all time, our favorite 30. Really hard. You know, when I actually sat down yesterday, I had a list of all these albums, all these great solo albums, and then to try and pick out, I had way more than I thought I was going to have, then to pick out the top 30. Really difficult, and I think I'm going to spend today and tomorrow re-looking at the list because I have a lot that didn't make it, and I'm like second-guessing myself. So again, the criteria: it has to be a solo album from someone who was with a pretty notable band beforehand. So not someone who went solo right off the bat. Not David Bowie, not Elton John, not those sort of people, right? They were always solo. Talking about a prominent member of a prominent band who left to either do a quick solo album and came back, or never left, just did a solo album or a bunch of solo albums but still stayed in the main band, or left to form a solo band named after themselves or whatever, and they went and did the solo thing going forward. That's kind of what we're looking for here, right? So yeah, no Elton John, no Pat Benatar, no, Stevie Ray Vaughan, no, all the usual stuff, Frank Marino, all the usual suspects. They had to have been with a notable band first before they went solo. So that's the criteria I'm going for. So stay tuned till then, and we'll see you tomorrow for pick number 1. I am Pete Pardo. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye-bye.